What is going on, YouTube? It's your boy Rude Money back with the Better Sweet Life, and you already know today I'm going to let you guys know about the first 5 mods you should do to your Beamer. Personally, as you know, I have, or as you may know, I have the F10 and the F36. All right, that is a 535 and a 540. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. That's a 535 and a 430. All right, 2014 and 2018. And these are the first 5 mods that I did to my cars, how I did it. The F36, you didn't need to do same things you do to the F10, because you don't really have an intercooler. You have a heat exchanger, which actually works a lot better than the intercooler in the F10. So the F36 is slightly different, but I did it this way anyways because my plans are to put bigger turbos and, you know, eventually go, you know, like full E85, you know, stage 3 fuel pump or something like that. I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out. But first 5 mods, all right, on the car. I'm gonna put the windows up so y'all can hear me clearly. Second. All right. I know I need to get tints. It looks like it has no tints. It does have tints, some tints, but I got the car like that. So first 5 mods coming at you for sure. So the first thing I always do with every single one of my cars is cold air intake. Cold air intake is just, for me, the #1 thing you should do, because it is a supporting mod to every other mod that you're gonna do, where you're actually increasing airflow. So, you know, if you're gonna do, for some cars, throttle bodies or exhaust work, downpipes, or whatever it is, all right, cold air intake is definitely the first cheapest thing that you can actually do just to increase airflow and throttle response on your actual car. All right, for my F36, the 4 Series, I ended up going with a AFE power. I actually found that for like $300 on eBay, the boxed in one, which is super dope. The same one for the F10 was actually like $500, so I didn't go with it because it just, at the end of the day, a cold air intake is a cold air intake. What they say is the more beneficial part of the AFE is that it's boxed in, so it doesn't have really any heat soak from anywhere else in the engine. However, with the F10, I ended up going with a K&N. I bought that for $250, and it does, of course, you know, have the, it closes, like the hood closes on the rubber, so it can prevent heat soak. I think that's not as practical as a system as the boxed in, but the price point for me just wasn't enough to say, yeah, well, I'm gonna go with the $500 one simply for a box. So at the end of the day, essentially does the same shit. So that's mod #1. Mod #2, I've personally, I did it different on both cars. For my second mod on this car, I ended up just doing charge pipe, because it was a cheaper mod, while I actually waited for my downpipe to come in. So I kind of did downpipe and charge pipe at the same time. With the F36, I really rushed into getting it to stage 2. I did it quickly, literally within a month I had it to stage 2, and went full bolt on. So I didn't really go in a particular order with the F36, especially knowing already what I had to do to the F10. So having had some experience, I just went out and bought the parts that I needed for the F10 to go stage 2. But yeah, stage 2, I'm sorry, mod 2, I did cold air intake. I would say exhaust, right? Exhaust work, even if it's at least switching your downpipe, right? Well, I'd say it's not a particular order. You can say 2 could be exhaust or downpipe, or vice versa. It just doesn't matter. At that point, like, my second for sure is downpipe, just because it's so much more restrictive than everything else. So I just rather do downpipe. So I did downpipe. Even with the stock exhaust, I still had some burbles. I didn't even do a tune at that point. That's what the F36. The F10, I didn't get burbles when I changed my exhaust. Both of my exhausts that I got for these cars are axle backs. For the F36, I got the AWE tuning touring exhaust. I went with the quad. And then for the 5 Series, the F10, I actually went with some Megan Supremos, which are just not as loud as I would like it. They are nice. It's better than stock. It is quad, so the price point on that wasn't bad. But if you're really looking for loud, that's not the way to go. As my 4 Series, being a 4-cylinder, is actually louder than my 5 Series, being a 6-cylinder. Both quad. The thing with the F10 where it might be a little bit quieter is because I do have a high flow cap versus the F36 where I went with a catless completely. On both cars, on the exhaust, I actually left the resonators on both cars just because I didn't want to sound like super loud like a Honda. So I did leave the resonators on there, giving it the sound that it has now. I personally like it. I don't plan on taking them off. I like where I'm at right now. So that was mod 2. Mod 2 could be downpipe exhaust. Let's just say downpipe, and then mod 3 would be exhaust, right? Exhaust, again, we've already spoke about that. Definitely get that tone that you want, that noise you want. You get a little bit more power. It's not a crazy amount of power, but you do get a little bit more power. So it's definitely worth it. If you're looking for example, on the F36, I only had a single outlet dual exhaust. Of course, if you're gonna go quad exhaust, it's more for aesthetic and sound purposes, not performance wise, because it's not really gonna do anything for you. Again, it's just aesthetics and sound. I went quad on both, so I just like the look of quad. So I guess that was mod 3. So mod number 4 on these cars, let me see, I would probably do a tune, right? At that point, I do a tune. Actually, no, scratch that. Do a charge pipe. All right, the reason why you do a charge pipe is for protection of the plastic charge pipes that come stock. All right, those do crack. Just going stage 1 on my F10, I didn't think charge pipe was such a big thing. They're like, oh, it's not really performance, it's just a supporting mod. I thought I could still have some life on my F10. It was a 2014. It's about a year ago now. I thought I still had some life on that charge pipe. I went stage 1. As soon as I went stage 1, boot mode, by the way, and they say you don't need any hardware, you don't need anything to go stage 1. I went down the block, my charge pipe blew. All right, so as soon as I went stage 1, I literally had to park my car for about 2 weeks until I got my charge pipe in. So that sucked. So I would definitely say charge pipe all day. Do your charge pipe, and then last but not least, being mod number 5, is the tune. Once you go for the tune, once you have all that pretty much on there, you can go stage 2. Of course, I left out intercooler or heat exchanger because these are just mods where I don't know what your goal is. If you're trying to go stage 2, of course you need an intercooler or whatnot, but for the first 5 mods, at least going stage 1, you can leave the intercooler off there. It's a pretty expensive part depending on the car that you're driving. For example, this car, the F36, my heat exchanger was less than 900, was less than 600 bucks, I believe. It was like for 400 bucks. I ended up going with MAD, M-A-D, which is Masters of Art Design or some shit like that. I don't know, some Chinese made shit, but it works fine. It works fine. The welding is good, the quality is good, everything works perfect. There's been no heating, there's been no issues with it. I've actually took this car to Mexico. I've had quite a few runs back to back on it, and fine. There was no heating at all, no heating issues, no lagging, nothing. My car was performing great, right? So definitely that. So those are your 5 mods, man. Again, cold air intake, downpipe, exhaust, charge pipe, and then tune. Then definitely, if you want a supporting mod, or for stage 2, go ahead and get the intercooler. For the F36, you don't really need the heat exchanger unless you're planning to actually put a turbo in soon. I don't plan on doing it soon because I still want to get my 5 Series, get the turbo on there, forge the internals, because I have an N55, not an N54. So definitely forge the internals, try to get a bigger turbo, and try to get as close to 800 wheel horsepower as possible. That's goal for the 5 Series. I would really like as close to 1,000 horsepower, but I don't see longevity on the engine for that. And this is kind of why I'm forging the internals, just so I can try to get more power out of it with giving the engine longevity. Being over 100,000 mile car, of course, it's a lot of highway miles, but still, you don't want to like push too much power through it. My F36 is a daily driver, so a boost project or a bigger turbo project is definitely down the line. I'm not looking to really race this car or anything like that. Of course I do, because it's fun, and my 5 Series right now, it's out of commission. I'm fixing the Valvetronic on that, but definitely you don't need the heat exchanger for the F36. If you want to go stage 2 on the F10, you definitely need an intercooler. All right, on mine, I usually don't like going cheap. I don't like getting cheap parts for my cars. On the F36, because it is more of a daily driver, not so much of a race race car or performance inspired car, I kind of just went a little cheap, I guess you would say. I guess because it's a newer car, they had less options as well. So I went with MAD, a Chinese company, or they make their products in China, for their heat exchanger, which I'm not disappointed with. But again, having had more options, maybe read reviews and stuff like that, I would have probably gone for something a little bit more expensive because it wasn't made in China. But they didn't have the option, so I just went and did that. Not mad at it. I went VRSF downpipe. I'm not crazy for VRSF as well, as their parts, from what I've heard, and I guess I remember doing some research. They said their parts are made in China as well. So I just try to stay away for Chinese parts, especially on German cars, because these are like very expensive, quality built cars and quality inspired cars. You know, where Chinese parts are just not really top tier quality shit. So that's why I'm a little scared to go Chinese on it. But I went VRSF, I went MAD on the F36. It was cool. The car's performing great, it sounds great, drives great. And on the F10, I definitely went a lot more expensive, where I got a Wagner intercooler, I got a Evolution Raceworks catted downpipe, or high flow catted downpipe. And you know, I had a lot more money going to that car, and I could have saved a lot more money, but it is what it is. Both cars are stage 2 on boot mode. And you know, so yeah, man, it's kind of a little bit of a rundown as where I did, how I did my mods, what my mentality was, where I wanted my car, where I want my car. And you know, so yeah, let me know what y'all want to see, man, down in the comments. Hit subscribe, you know, turn on the bell, you know, everything will be well. Y'all never miss an episode. Y'all know up to date what's going on with both of the cars, with the project car, with the daily driver. Let me know if you're interested in any specific videos, again, down in the comments. I will be looking at my comments. I'll be checking it out below, see if you guys want to see any race videos or whatever it is. As I was saying, my mechanic's actually doing my Valvetronic right now. I don't know what happened to my camera, should cut out. But yeah, he's doing my Valvetronic right now, so it's gonna take a while until I get my car out to Mexico, or the 5 Series out to Mexico. But we still got the 4 Series. We're doing some damage to these 4-cylinder cars. I still need to do, I guess I could do a video on the E85 blend, which would be the E30. I want to go ahead and do that video for y'all, because I personally haven't done the E30. So let's see how that goes, man. We out. Y'all catch me later.